Boy, oh boy, my color looks a little bright. Okay, there we go. That's a little bit better. That's the wrong way. Let's go like that. There. All right. This is what happens. This is what you look like when you lay down for 10 minutes. Actually, I was sitting down crocheting and fell asleep. So, this is what you look like when you wake up. Anyway, so today I'll go over a few things with you. So, my name is Laura Russell. I am a carnivore. But what this video is going to entail more than anything is it's going to go over more in detail items that I have purchased over the last 4 years, more in the way of prepping. So, if you think that the world's in a great place, you don't think you may ever have to have a little extra anything for yourself or your family or neighbors or friends, and you think you'll be able to get by and trust that the government's going to swoop in there and help take care of you, then this, excuse me, then this is not the video for you. So I will preface that so you have plenty of time to go on. And if you want to stay and watch, that's fine as well. Because I think everybody could do a little bit of something on here, and I'll go over some different things. Um, First thing I do, and this, like I said, I've done this forever, just being raised by next door to a grandmother who went through the Depression. Her family came through Auschwitz. Um, I've always been somebody who doesn't trust unless I am given a reason to trust. So that's kind of where I start from. So I'll let you know that. And if you've paid attention to our healthcare system, our food system, our pharmaceuticals, and all of that, if you think that you can trust 100% of what you're being told by the media and by your government officials, then this is also probably not the channel you want to follow. If this is something that you kind of are interested in, then this is maybe the channel for you. So, first thing I'm going to recommend, and I don't know that I have a lot of them, they're kind of buried. I always recommend that you want at least 3 months of water. Okay. And that is about 2 gallons. It's 1 gallon per day for two people, is roughly. You could go less than that if you had to. I like a lot of water. So I would say a gallon a day for each two people is what you would really want to have. I mean, summer, you're probably going to need more, even though you actually lose more water during the winter. Um, the other thing is salt. So, like, I buy these in bulk. So, that is your Redmond's real salt. It's the fine sea salt. I have a 25-pound bag. I have tens, ones, all of those. So, that is something you can live several days without food, but you have absolutely have to have water and you need electrolytes. And so that salt has a lot of those. So the things that I did is I've always had a few extra things that you could possibly need. Somebody says, "Well, do you feel like you're a hoarder?" And I was like, "I don't know, because it would depend on what your definition of a hoarder is. If you consider a hoarder having stuff that they can use, if something happens, okay, then I guess sign me up for that. If you think that hoarding is more people having like five of something laying around doesn't really have a lot of use, then no, I don't do that stuff. So the stuff that I have is something that you're gonna definitely need. The other thing that I recommend, like I said, at least be planned for up to 3 months in case something happens. What I always did starting out, especially around the holidays, they have all these mass sales on stuff in different stores, like your farm stores. So like Farm King, Farm and Home. I'm trying to think. There's some other names of farm places. Just your farm stores in general will have canning products. So they'll have the jars on sale, lids and rings. I buy extras of those. So anytime there's a sale, I kind of see if there are items that I could use for canning, prepping, putting stuff away. So that is something I do. Something that you could do even on a very small, short income or a fixed income is you could buy extra cans of meat. You know, And if you like vegetables, buy your canned vegetables because they'll live forever because there's no nutritional value left really in them at that process most of the time, and lots of bad salt, but at least you won't starve to death. So I would buy extra cans of like tuna, salmon, sardines. Not a huge fan of sardines. I'm trying to make myself get better at eating those because I do think they're good for you, but I'm waiting on some I ordered the other day, the Carnivore Brothers. I think his name's Rick. He had told me, sent me 2 different brands that he tried. He sent me the names of them, and so I went out and I ordered those. So I'm just kinda waiting on those to come in because the heads are gone, so you don't have to look at their little eyeball at the side when you're eating it. So I'm gonna try that, see if that helps. I think part of it's mindset. Um, recommend also, and this is probably harder for people that live like in apartments in cities, but this can be done safely, is canning and cold packing. Cold packing is just another word for calling pressure cooking. So pressure canning can be done inside an apartment that is a studio apartment. You do, there are safety guidelines that you do need to follow when you're doing that, but I would do any of that. You can buy meat when it's on sale, and go over that. I'll show you something. So right here, and let's see if that's, yep, that's deer. I had to check to see if it was deer or beef. So right there is shelf stable beef. You can see the fat that's in there. It's got salt in it, like that. It made its own broth that I made in December of this year. And I just pulled from my little shelf back here. Um, I need to face those, so that is something that you can do, and that could be 2 meals for somebody, or let's say there's a couple of you. You guys could split that for a meal. That'd be plenty of protein and fat and salt for a meal. So, first things I'm gonna go over that I do, I kinda tried to put these in somewhat of an order. uh, is I pick up foil Ziploc baggies, so extra foils, and I'm not any brand, I don't care, dollar, doesn't matter if it's Dollar Tree, what it is. So buy those types of items, saran wrap, wax paper, parchment paper, freezer paper, and tape. Some people do have things built into their ground and have coolers in it, like down into the ground, where you could wrap your food in, like your freezer paper, even if there was no power, you could do so. Plastic trash bags or grocery sacks, because you can use them as little trash bags if you need to. Different sizes of aluminum pans. So anything from like the ones that look like it would be almost like a pot pie to your larger, because you can cook those on open flame. You can cook them on charcoal, gas, wood, fire, wouldn't matter. You can cook on with that. So those are just some little things. And like I said, that's an extra $4, extra 3 something, I think, when I bought these freezer bags. Funny thing is we went and I did some extra foil freezer bags and trash bags last week, and it was $13 more this time than it was 14 years ago. I was like, that's a pretty good jump. Yay, for the economy doing so great. Um, second thing and these are things I have done. This is not all inclusive. Some people have like little bags packed up. I forget even what they're called. Anyway, they pack those up with specific things to take them in case something happens. I don't plan to do that. I plan that this will be my last place where I'm sitting. So I'm not leaving my home unless my home is completely demolished. Otherwise, I plan on staying here till the last breath. So things that I have bought ahead are like charcoal. If you have cats or you have a friend who has cats, if they buy litter in those big square container things like that, you can take the lid, open it up, clean it out, let it dry, and then you can put your charcoal in there, close the lid, and it stays good. You don't have to worry about moisture, and you can keep it out in like your garage and stuff. So you can do charcoal, you can do extra uh, lighter fluid, several bottles. I do have those in the house, which I probably should keep those outside because if I do have a fire, it's really going to happen. Small travel wood cook stove, which I bought one of those, online. It literally looks like the size of a old square scale that you would stand on, but it just pops together, stands up, and you could cook, any size pot on that cook stove. You could use sticks, you could use wood, you could use charcoal, anything that you wanted to use in there, you could do so. You could put that in that little cook stove. They do have, there's different ones, but they're a lot heavier. This thing weighs about 4 pounds. So it'd just be something easy if you needed to move around. So I have the wood cook stove. If you have a really big old style wood cook stove that you can do all that, that would be perfect. Those are a little cashy, but they're very nice. I think Princess is a model of one that I really like, but I don't remember the name of the people that make it. If you follow Doug and Stacy off grid, she has one and they're really nice. Extra LP tanks. I do have extra LP tanks, and I did when I had some extra money. I did actually buy I think it's a 60-gallon tank, and I had that filled. And so it's just out in the garage with the other like 30-pound tanks, is what I have. But I do have extra of those. I have gas um, in gas cans, your plastic gas cans. I have plenty of those. I have oil. I have like an oil lamp. It's kind of like a hurricane lamp, but it looks more like your old, oh, like if somebody was coming down the train tracks and they had the little, what's that called? Lantern. It looks like a lantern. It's really cute. Anyway, and I have the wicks and stuff to go with that. So, we had a derecho. It was a really bad windstorm that we've never heard of until the last 5 years. I think they started. Never had them before, but anyway, we've had 2 of those within 100 miles of here. One of them hit right on here. The other one was more up around Iowa City, Iowa, but, we were without power for, I think, 78 hours. So those kinds of things came in handy. The other things is I have a hand mixer, and I'll show you that real quick. And this cost $6. It was nothing. Super easy. I haven't even put it together, if that tells you anything. Because if I don't need it, I'm not going to put her together, but it's all here in one piece. So it's got a little basket that goes inside like that. You can spin, like say you eat lettuce. I do not, but if you eat lettuce, any vegetables, you could put it in here and actually use it as a spinner. But the little handle pops on here, which is down inside there. I'm not going to mess with putting it together, but that's just a little chopper. So I don't know if you can see through here. Got the little blades down in there. And then it's got these to stick on, like you can put it on a countertop or anything. Um, but I could chop up vegetables if I needed to for my husband. The other thing is it also works if I wanted to grind up meat. I could put it in there to make burger. It may not come out perfectly like my grinder would. I really love my grinder. But that's one of those things that you could have, and it was $6. The old can openers, and I mean the old style, just metal. They're not the most fun to use. I do have a couple of those. Silverware, paper plates, glass plates, clay plates, and those I have. I went to like not the Salvation Army, but it was one of those kind of institutions that they had. And I went in there and bought a ton of old bakeware, stuff like that to have on hand. And everything kind of fits down inside itself. So it's like nesting stuff. So I have that. So I think that's pretty cool. Hello. Hi, Jasmine. Hi, Renee. Um, so I would buy those kinds of things. You could have, I'm not a fan of solo cups with the plastic. If you put water or fluid in it and it's in the sun, you're going to leach that in. But if you're inside, solo cups are fine. You could always do paper cups as well. Glass cups, glass, ceramic, cast iron. I I'm kind of I'm right in front of my cast iron. I did buy a full set from Lodge and it was under $100 and it was 5-piece cast iron. So I did buy that. Coffee grinder, and it's just a hand coffee grinder. I also have a mortar and pestle that you could use for that. Coffee percolator, all of those things are things that I have. Hi, B Dog. Hi, guys. Um, so that I went through prep one, which it was like foil, Ziploc bags, different things that I have bought up extra. Next was like charcoal, lighter fluid, things that you could use to cook, and prepare food if you needed to, if you were without electricity. Another thing that I'm a big fan of, which I just did this is tallow. So that is completely shelf stable. It is sealed. Okay, so it's sealed. And I did this yesterday. I couldn't remember if it was yesterday or the day before. So that is tallow which is fat. So you could cook in that, or, and I know this sounds gross, but if it comes down to you don't have any food and all you have is water and salt and fat, you can survive with that. In fact, you're probably going to thrive if you had to do something like that. I buy lard because I can't eat bacon, I can't eat pork. I used to make my own lard, and I do have like 7 or 8 containers of lard, but I just can't eat it anymore. It inflames me. You could do olive oil. I do avocado oil, always in glass jars, always organic cold press. And you can get those. Actually, Aldi's has a really nice quality stuff, so I do that there. Canned butter, which I have. I've canned so many things of meat. I don't know exactly. Oh, wait, never mind. I gave that to a patient. I was like, I have 2 jars of that I did a few months back. I forgot. I gave it to a patient, and actually, she lived in a town that got hit really bad by the derecho, so that worked out pretty well for her. She eats grilled peanut butter and grilled cheese together, which sounds kind of gross, but she likes it. So we let her do her thing. So let's see. B Dog. Yes, actually, I am. So let me show you. I'm so excited yesterday about, let me just tell you, if you ever try to make your own shampoo or soap or anything that you use lye, wear gloves. I didn't burn myself, but wear gloves because it's a little rough. And also don't inhale when you're mixing it because boy, when you first do that, it has that reaction. My throat was a little sore, but I was so excited because I really didn't intend on making a super large batch of this, but so there's 12 bars that are curing. It'll take 6 weeks for those, and then 2 of the smaller. So I'll show you the difference in sizes. So that's the difference. These are just the small, and that's the regular size. Let me try to put these back without dumping them on myself. There we go, because they have to cure. But anyway, these are the other ones. So they look just like that. I've used my shampoo bar probably 3 times, and you've got little ridges because it's the cupcake, thing that I used. And I'm not even like those aren't even wore down yet. So I don't even, this has to give you probably 50 to 60 uses at least. And I have a lot of hair. And so, yes, I do have those. So if you're interested, you let me know. You send me your address and we'll go from there. Let's see. The other thing that I'm going to go in with prep 3, which is more of like your food items, is canned meats. So whether it be like my cold pack meat, whether you do that. Mm, I don't really need a catheter kit now, do I? I have a brand new patient with a catheter, so I always like to have a kit here in case I need to go do it. This is cod liver. It's in its own oil, and I bought it when 120 of 23, so a little over a year ago. Um, these are good. I believe it said 5 years. Yep, 5 years. So I have that, and I'm trying to think. I'd have to look back. I know I probably purchased it on Amazon. I don't even know how much it would cost. I think most everything I buy, food items like that, is going to be less than 10 bucks. So it's something that you can buy a little bit at a time. So the canned meats is something. Let me see. Okay. So another thing I'll go over. I don't buy a lot of these things, but this is from Paleo Valley. They tried to kill me. And I had bought some of these sticks because they are carnivore. They're clean, but I bought several different flavors of these. They're vacuum sealed individually and then they're vacuum sealed in there. And they were okay. They weren't as good, and I'm not trying to be facetious. I didn't like them as well as like my own jerky and stuff that I make. Then this is pemmican. So I don't know if you've ever heard of pemmican, um, but I would look it up. It is something that the Indians survived with during the winter. So I make my own pemmican. So that's something that you could do. I don't know that I did a video on that. I'll have to look and see. So those are things. Jerky, like I said. And then if you want supplies that you can utilize not just for yourself, but to trade with people, because in tough times, people with all different backgrounds are going to be able to barter items, I guess is what you would call that. So let me look at your comments real quick. I did. Well, Renee, with the tallow, you don't have to can it like in a water bath process or anything like that. What I do is I put the jars in hot water, just like this sitting up, so there's no water that gets inside. I set them up in hot water when I am rendering this, which just means you've cooked it. You've cooked whatever your meat or your fat, and you've conserved that off. Then I put that in a saucepan and on very low, I let that cook and it gets all the impurities. You'll kind of see it and hear it and making noises. The extra water impurities kind of come up out of it and it's purified basically or clarified. Then while it's hot, not like steaming hot still, but I mean hot, I put it in here, put the lid ring on it, turn it upside down on my counter for a few minutes, turn it back over, let it cool completely, and it sets and it works. I used to do that with salsa. I shouldn't say used to. I did it last year for my husband because I jarred salsa for him. Hi, Kathy. How are you? Oh, Renee, bacon smells so good when it's being cooked. Ugh, it's kind of sad. I do like eating lion. I eat the lion diet, so I just eat ruminant meat, salt and water, an occasional egg yolk here or there, but not much. I don't really need them. I do a lot of fat and meat. I do about a 50-50 ratio. But I will tell you, when my husband cooks his bacon and eggs in the morning, I'm always like, man, I wish that bacon didn't bite me. I get a histamine response. Otherwise, I would be eating that. 1.5. Boy, you had a lot of lard left. That's good. Yes. Let's see. Was the soap slip? The soap was not slippery, Renee. So I did come on. Was it last Sunday? I believe it was last Sunday. I come on right after I had finished blow drying my hair, and I was super amazed. First of all, I love the texture that it gives my hair. It's not super heavy or weighed down, but it's also not dry and flighty and flies all over the place. But when I got done in the shower, I got out, didn't feel anything, and I was like, I don't know. So I thought, well, while my feet are still wet, I'll step back in there and see. I had nothing, no issues whatsoever. Because I'm 50, gonna be 53. My husband just turned 62. Neither one of us needs to be falling in a bathtub, and we got one of those big clawfoot old style bathtubs. So it could probably do a little damage. So no, it works out fine. It really does. I was kind of surprised. So the tallow for stability for I believe they say 2 years is what they say, beef tallow is shelf stable for, but I can tell you, if you render it down and you get out all of those impurities, I've used it where it's been several years old. With my canned cold packed meat, I've used it as old as 10 years. I've never used any that I can recollect that was over 10 years. Most of it's within 4 or 5, but I have had some that was 10 years old that I had done, so And, it's one of those, you'll know if something's not good as long as your nose works. Pay attention to that. If you open something up and it has a rancid smell, then it's no good. But I really don't have trouble with my lids um, sealing with the processings that I've done. When I first started years ago, 20, I was probably 20 years old when I was doing it by myself. My grandmother died when I was only 13 or 15, pretty young. And I canned and cold packed with her, hunted, fished, everything with her. But I didn't do anything that reminded me of her. I didn't crochet. I didn't do any of the stuff that she had showed me for several years just because of the trauma of what I witnessed and stuff with her. But then at 20, I started having my own family and I was like, I kind of paid homage to her that, some of the stuff she had taught me. So then I started getting into that. But I do remember the first few times I canned, I tried to go cheaper on the lids. And I have found that Ball lids tend to do the best. I bought some online a couple years ago, when you couldn't find any canning stuff, any lids, rings, things like that. I bought some online and it came from another country and every single one of those did not. So I did say something to the place I bought it from, and it took them several months, but I did get a complete refund, and I sent them back with my cost. I sent them back because I'm like, these things are horrific. They did nothing. Like it was. I think I did 13 jars in that one batch, and I think one sealed. So you have to use decent on that, but you can get those on sale. So I would pay attention to, like I said, those farm stores. Let's see. Oh, you've got a huge griddle. That's nice on your back patio, Renee. Ah, I'll bet your neighbors were like, Let's go to Renee's house. Do you smell all that? That is, oh, let's see. Uh, yes, I did buy a natural brand from somebody. I have a friend and she makes goat soap and uses some oils in it. And I don't know if it doesn't have the lye in it. I'm not sure what it has, but yes, I did just about fall and bust my you know what. So I was waiting for that, but no, it worked great. So Kathy, wow, wish I was your next door neighbor. I would volunteer to help you with a lot of these things. Well, I appreciate that. Um, I live in a small neighborhood, so I mean, there is room for people. And we live in a little town. We're nice to each other and we do have each other's backs. So, anyway, if you listen to the Jason Aldean song that everybody was so controversial over, that's pretty much this area in a nutshell. Doesn't matter what color you are, doesn't matter what you are, who you are, where you came from. If you live in this area, we will uh, we will go down if we have to for the people we live with. So let's see, travel pack coming in late. Oh, that's okay. I will kind of go back over some of the stuff that I've done, and I'll show you, but you can always watch it on the replay too. The dog was right there. Yeah. Our thing is when like my husband cooks his bacon and eggs in the morning, those cats are like right on top of him because they basically eat that stuff too. Especially in the morning. They eat anything he eats, they eat. They don't bug me quite as bad unless like today I decided for lunch, I made ribeye fat and then just a kind of a thin ribeye. And yeah, they were on me. They wanted that. So okay. So the next stuff I'm gonna go over is for prepping stuff that I've had people, because they can see my shelves up here and they're like, "Oh, I see stuff on there that's not carnivore." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's true." Because I was keto for 28 years before becoming a carnivore over 4 years ago, and I'm not gonna starve to death, and I'm going to be able to barter. So these next items are things that I have saved back, and you can start very little, very cheaply. Aldi's stuff, a lot of the stuff I got at an Aldi's, and I don't know if you guys all have Aldi's where you are from, but any of your like Save-A-Lots, anything where you can get items like that, is where you can buy those. Dollar Tree is wonderful. They have dried, like powdered milk, which I think you could have if you like milk. But anyway, so the things that I kind of saved up there is I have bulk coffee, I have coffee beans, I have coffee ground, I have bulk. And when I say bulk, so I'll show you the jasmine rice. And this is pretty, you could use this for a workout. So I have, I think, at least 10 of these, and each of them are filled with 10 different ones, like 10 that all have rice, 10 that have coffee, 10 that have these next items. So, bulk sugar that I would never eat, never, not even if I was starving to death. No, thank you. Brown sugar, jasmine rice, flour of all sorts, noodles, oats, legumes, beans, lentils. So these are the beans. So I'll show you two things. So in these here, what I did was I filled them as far as I could. I'll show you real quick. And then I just have those oxygen absorbers. I have one on the top. So just like that. These I bought through Amazon and they seal really well. So, and then they have the cute little stickers that you can put on. But I have, like I said, I bought the first pack of those. I went to order one pack of four. And like I said, they're really big. And I must have had like fat fingers and hit it twice. And it ended up coming double, which was perfect because I had bought all these bulk things and started putting them in there. And then I bought a thing of oxygen. Let me see if I can grab that real quick. Sorry. I should have grabbed that first. Oh, okay. So this is the ones. Sorry, I know it's really bright. But anyway, like that, so you can see. Anyway, so those are just oxygen absorbers. So I got those, and you could actually do this very small. So if you just have like baggies, you could put it in there, and you could put one of those pouches in there. And I know this sounds stupid. I do have a food saver that can suck the air out, but I don't want to dick with it. So I literally like suck the air out and close it up. You could do something like that and have several different items very small. If you have not a lot of space, you could do that. We live in a very small home. I don't like to pay taxes to a government. I don't like to clean a huge house, and I don't need a huge house. So I have a small house. So I didn't have a lot of space, but what I have, I did put these shelving units up. I lost a lot of religion that day when I put those together. Me and my husband sometimes don't work perfectly well together because I like to do things right now. And he's more like, let's measure 17 times and do it right. And I'm like, let's just do it. Duh. So, anyway, another thing that I do is I do garden. I don't eat beans. My husband does. We do give them away, but we let black beans, red beans, pintos, whatever kind of beans that you can think of, we grow and then you allow them to dry. And if any of you are old enough to remember this, this is something I did with my grandparents and I know my parents did with their grandparents, is you allow that little bean, that's hanging off of your plant to dry completely. And then that outer thing is called a pummy. And you could sit in front of the fan back in the day when you were sitting out on the front porch and it was hotter than Hades. And you would rub it like that in front of the fan and all that stuff would come off. And then you just have the beans left over. I don't do it that way because it's too messy. So I sit on my couch and do this like if we're watching football or something that because I can't pay attention. I don't like to sit still for very long, but that is something you can do. You put a packet like that. What I did with these beans is I put them in like a oh, what is that cake people used to make? Texas heat cake. So I would take one of those pans and I'll if any of them are not fully dried and let them sit out for a couple days and dry completely. Then you put them in here with an oxygen thing. You just put your lid on and you've got beans. And then if you're somebody who eats beans, you can reconstitute these overnight in some water. You can put them in an Instapot with water and reconstitute them in 30 minutes. So as you can see, we've got pinto, and I think I made refried beans with that. So, and then the black beans. So when my husband makes chili, he does both. He puts red and black beans in there. All right, let me see. Oh, you got your castor oil. Yay! It is really good. Travel pack or traveling pack, what are you putting the castor oil on? Are you doing it for the eyes? Are you doing it for your skin, your belly button, for sleep? I'm just interested to know kind of where you're what you're using it for. I love castor oil. I have so much castor oil. I mean, I have a lot. Let's see. Jenny, my sister cans everything. She gets her lids from the Amish. Yes, in central air. Really? Huh. What do you know where I live in West Central Illinois? So she kinda knows about Illinois, huh? Huh. Yeah, see, we have an Amish store over in Iowa. I live really close to Illinois, or I am in Illinois. I live really close to Missouri and Iowa. We're kind of like right in a very close proximity. And so there's an Amish store in Cantrell, Iowa, and I go there and I purchase a lot of stuff up there very cheap. So that's smart. Good for her. I'll use it on hip pain. Oh, okay. Um, traveling pack. Another thing to do, I don't think I have it in here. I don't. Okay. Is if you're having pain in that hip, not only just do castor oil, but take about, I don't know if you're just using castor oil and rubbing it directly on, if you're putting it in another bottle. If you're putting it in another bottle, add like a teaspoon of cayenne pepper or turmeric to that. You can actually use both. Mix that in really good with gloves, and the only reason I say with gloves, because it's not gonna hurt your hands, is because you tend to touch your eyes or mouth or nose later, and then you're gonna be burned and you'll be on fire, but putting that in there will really help with the inflammation and stuff in the joint. I would definitely do that. Let's see. So travel and pack. I'm 5'5", I'm down to 145-ish. Good for you. Wow, excellent. Hip pain the last month or 2. Yeah, which it will help still just with doing the oil, but I think if you add that in, I think you're gonna see additional benefits. One thing that I noticed, when I changed my lifestyle of eating, even going from keto was better than the standard American diet. Anytime you get away from processed foods and you're doing whole foods, you're better off, and that even goes for if you're vegan. If you wanna be vegan, I don't care. I just want everybody to get out of the medical industrial complex of being on their tit. And not because I don't like the people, I don't like the institutions. But I think if people could do that stuff for themselves, they would be amazed. But anyway, when especially if I fast, I had a shoulder injury where I had a slight tear in this rotator cuff. I do kickboxing, so I do turbo fire kickboxing, and I decided to go from my 2-pound weights that I wear, like these wrist weights, to 5 pounds, because why not? 5 is better, and I injured myself, and I noticed that fasting at least once a week, just for anywhere from 48 to 72 hours helped, and then the castor oil helped with that, so I would do that. Let's see, Catherine, doesn't the coffee get no. Nope. Now the ground coffee might have trouble, but when you have it completely sealed, you can do it in Mylar bags, which I have Mylar bags also. I don't know where I put those. It's a great big huge pack. Anyway, you can do Mylar bags and you wouldn't have to worry about that either. People like Renee, I think, say she uses like the 5-gallon buckets that you can use for that. And you can seal those. The coffee beans are not going to go rancid because this is the funny thing about the coffee you buy in the regular grocery store off of the shelf. You would be surprised if you knew just how old it was and how wet it was when they picked it and green, which is why a lot of people have like jitters when they drink coffee. It's not always from the caffeine. A lot of it is from mycotoxins, which come from the molds. So, nope, coffee is great. I don't drink coffee, but like I said, my husband does. I do have a coffee percolator and the little filters. I've got so many of those filters bought because you can use that coffee filters for several things. If you want to strain like your tallow and stuff like that, you can use it for that. Another thing, other than beans, lentils, I do have lots and lots of honey. So I hate to do this, but I'm going to get up for one more time. I promise. This is the last time. Okay. All right, I'm back. So, with um like I've said, I'm very holistic in things for treating your own self. So one of the things I did is I reached out to local beekeepers. I didn't realize we had one literally through our backyard, past the little park, and we have a beekeeper right there, which explains all the extra bees the last 2 years that were all over our peach trees. I was like, where do these come from? Well, they're his, and they're not American honeybees. I think they're UK honeybees. He went with those because I think they're shown to be hardier at getting mites. It doesn't kill them off, or they don't get the mites that the Americans do, American honeybees. So anyway, I have gallons and gallons and gallons of honey, and I would use that more for bartering, wound care, and then sick care. So this is fermented honey garlic that I made, and it looks a little dark now, so that's how it's supposed to look. And you can see the little cloves in there. But I promise you, I get strep. I haven't since we aren't wearing the face stuff all the time. But if we go back to having to do that, me being a nurse, I may have to wear those things during work hours. I do get, I'm a strep carrier. But anyway, you can take one clove of that garlic and one little teeny spoonful of that honey, and I can guarantee you your strep throat is goodbye. I'm somebody who is a strep carrier. Like I said, I get it, usually 2 years ago, I had it 4 times in 1 year, and they kept wanting to do antibiotics. And I said, nope, I'm going to make this step up and try that. So on the last one, which was before Christmas of 2021, I had made this, and it takes about 6 weeks to get it made. And then you just keep it in the dark. After that, it's good forever. I used a spoonful of it and one clove. I did that 2 days in a row. And the funny thing is I'd been carnivore for already 2 years at that point, yeah, 2 years, because I'm over four now. And I didn't have any weird reactions to having honey, which is a sugar. I don't know if my body was like, she's using it for med. I don't know. It didn't affect me. So I'm not going to worry about it. I had people that were like, well, you're carnivore. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm also not going to take an antibiotic. If I can take something that's created naturally, I'm going to. So that's what I did. And it works. So let's see. Mhm. Yeah. My husband's a wonderful man. He's very calm, which I need because I'm not. But sometimes we don't work together well. We re-roofed this house a few years back, and it was rough. So let's see. Renee says she got her castor oil too. I think it's good. Yay. They seem smaller. That's good. They should. I would continue. To utilize that. Did you get like a thyroid collar also? So you could do that, or are you just doing like cotton, organic cotton with that? Either way, it will work great. LaPlace, Illinois. Huh. I'll have to look into that, Jenny. I don't know how far that is from me. Um, we go to the Sullivan area. I'll have to look into that because that may not be any further than me traveling all the way into Iowa and going that far up. I may just do that if that's not too far. B-Dog, I do not have a website right now. I am trying to put together something. I am also not technically savvy whatsoever. I didn't ever want to get dependent totally on technology because I know that at any point, if that ever goes away, everybody's going to be like, shit, I don't know how to add or talk or do anything. So I kind of never let myself really get deep into that. So what I have done before is I get your address, I have an email. So my email is in my description on here, but it is Laura, Laura 4771 at gmail.com. And just email me and I'll kind of get with you and we'll figure out a way to get it. And I just go up to my little post office and send stuff out. That's how I do stuff. Cause I am not. I need to work with G. She is like super tech and her husband's super tech, and I need to have her help. I need to get just a little business set up. I don't charge enough. Somebody asked me the other day, and I was like, I don't charge enough to even pay for what I'm putting in, like some of the containers. I'll show you. So these are BPA free plastic containers. And so this is like my tooth powder. I got to turn it around because I haven't registered my business name yet, but it's on here. And anyway, so like my tooth powder, um, these little containers, I buy them in bulk and I get them pretty cheap. But what I sell this for is like $3, and this is going to last you for probably 6 months to a year, just depending if you do it once a day or twice a day. So that's still pretty. I mean, I think that's cheaper than regular toothpaste polish stuff. I don't know. But anyway, I don't care. I'm not doing it to make a money. I'm just doing it to even maybe just buy more of those little, excuse me, little containers. So that's basically what I do. And plus, that's why I also show people how to do these things for themselves. And not everybody has the ability to go do that, and that's fine. But I do put that out there so that people also can do it themselves. I did, like I said yesterday, I did shampoo bars. I made more of that. I did the tallow lotion. I did more of the deodorant, and I did the tooth powder yesterday, all before I went to the chiropractor at 9 o'clock in the morning. I was pretty proud of myself. I definitely got some stuff done. So that's what I did. So yeah, if you just speed dog, if you just get with my email, then we'll just kind of work something out. It's fine. Oh, good, Renee. That's good. Yeah, that collar is pretty cool where you can just set it up against there. Um, and I don't know what you do for a living, Renee, um, but if you have extra day off work or anytime, not only would I wear that at bedtime, but if you're at home, if you have a day off, something like that, I don't, like I said, I don't know really what you do. I'd wear it. I'd put it on all different times. And you don't have to wash that out. And so like say you put the tablespoon on there, the next night you don't have to put quite as much. You can put half of that amount on because it stays in there and it continues to work. Your let's see. Oh, good, 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 good. So Kathy was just saying that she ordered today from Amazon some ingredients for making the deodorant and face and body serum. Oh, that stuff is so good. I love that stuff. I actually have a gua sha tool. It's like stainless steel or whatever. It's something shiny metal. I don't know. And I haven't used it yet, but I had 2 11 lines here really bad. And just, I've gotten rid of one just by doing the castor oil and pulling that. I haven't done it enough, and I'm not about to get any shots in there, and I don't care enough to do it. Let's see. Been sick for a month. Yeah, I would do Renee, I don't know if you do any kind of fasting, and I will do a fast with you if you need like a fasting buddy. But I think that is a fast way, autophagy, to help your immune system kind of get kicked in. Is maybe do a 3 day fast. I'm not saying do a 5 day, but I think most people could do a 3 day. If they don't, you have to find things to fill your time with that you because you're not eating. But I will do one with you if you need one. So okay, so we flipped houses. Oh, oh God. Yeah, there's no way I couldn't do that with my husband. Do not put tools in my hand. That would not be good. All right, let me see. I'm looking here. Here. Oh yeah. Yep, oil pulling. I haven't done the oil pulling with the castor oil. I've done it with the coconut oil before. I know you can do the castor oil that way though too, so it's safe to do that. Um, do not swallow it because if you do, you know what happens tomorrow when you wake up. Just so you know. Ba-ba-ba. I think the soap bars I'm doing are 5 is what I'm gonna do those for. And like I said, they're shampoo bars. Um, I have used mine 3 times. Is it 3 or 4 now? And like I said, I haven't even I'll show you. So they've got the little ridges, because I did them in a cupcake thing. Anyway, I haven't even gotten to where those are, smoothed out by using enough of it and that many uses. So, and I've got hard water here, so usually you go through the soap pretty much pretty fast. So, all right, B dog. I will look for your email. Renee, oh, you work at home. Been using it pretty much all day. Good, 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 good. Oh, that's probably true. And the other thing is if you have COPD plus CHF, you're kind of like I was born with asthma, so you will never ever see me with a turtleneck on. You'll never see me wearing like a tight choker necklace. You'll never see me wearing a scarf. I make scarves, but I do not wear them because I don't like anything up around my throat. It's very, ugh, I do not like it. Hi, Tambourine. Tambourine. Sorry about that. Hi. Let's see, Kathy, my poor honey got that upper respiratory. Oh yeah, the upper respiratory infection. Yep. I was very lucky. I did not. He takes Mullen extract. That is funny you bring that up. So where I live out in the country, we last year I was like, we need to find Mullen because I can do this on my own and make my own, which I'm going to. And we found all of these plants of that. And so I took it once the little flowers, they're real long stalked up at the top, like, and they have yellow flowers coming out of there. I let those dry and put those in, and I'm extracting that stuff out. And I'm doing mine. I did one in vodka and I did another one in oil. So, yep, good for anything upper respiratory whatsoever. Very good stuff. What are the instructions? Um, for ordering anything like that is just send me an email. My email address is up in the description, but it's just Laura, Laura 4771 at gmail.com. B-Dog. I don't know if you remember, but I had the question about do pick yeah. I just went to oh, yeah, I just went to clean shampoo and soap. I'm not on the Dupixent and my skin is so much better. I really yep, I think it was oxalate dumping as well. Yep, B-Dog, I absolutely do. I think G, if you watched her video, she has some spots that she was having some issues with, and I think that was that too. You know, she did that 5 day fast in January and went. And I don't want to scare people away from fasting because it actually helps speed this process up. But when you break down those fat cells that held all that junk, then you are going to have some of those reactions. But to me, it's just better off to get it out of the way, get it over with versus just having it a little bit. I'd rather just do it and get it over with. So let's see. Wearing the collar. Yeah, I can't imagine. I think wearing the collar would be hard. I do have a PayPal, Renee. I'm trying to think. I didn't bring my phone in here, but I do have PayPal. I guess it's probably hooked to that email. So I believe. I don't know. We'll have to look. So, hi, Squeaky Toy. Have you heard about treating I yes, I have with castor oil. I absolutely have. Um, night blindness, um, distance, cataracts, floaters are all things. I didn't have any floaters, but all of those other items, I've had patients with floaters that use the castor oil and those are gone. It takes time, but they're gone. So yes, I would do that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's see. Thanks. I have turmeric, so can add that. So traveling pack says she does have turmeric. She's going to be able to add that to her castor oil to put on her joints. 18 hours. Yep. Eat mostly meat, but I do eat dairy, usually Greek yogurt. Um, and that's another thing too. Some people are able to eat all of these other items, which is fine. You know, if you're not having any symptoms, I will tell you, I forced myself to eat dairy for a long, long time because I love it. I loved yogurt. I didn't care so much about the rest of it, but I really loved my yogurt, Greek yogurt especially. And I went off of it for a week. I did full, just eliminated everything but meat. And this was over 4 years ago. And I just ate, I think I was making broccoli cheese soup or something for like keto cooking or something. And I took one bite out of it. I mean, one bite. And I sat down on the couch after I had done my live and I didn't pay attention to it because you don't catch yourself doing sniffles and different things. And I say 4,000 times. But my husband was like, "What the hell?" And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "You don't hear yourself?" And he's like, "You're sniffling and you're clearing your throat constantly, like 50 times an hour, you know?" And my nose was just full, like my sinuses. And I was like, "Shit, I'll bet it's the cheese." And sure enough, so I had to go off of that. That is something you can always try is to go off of, try to avoid those things and maybe do what's called the lion diet for a little while and see if that helps also. Glucosamine chondroitin. Another thing, traveling pack is if you have your own meat bones, or if you can get a hold of meat bones from like your butcher, make your own bone broth and drink that. So, like instead of doing coffee, I would do like a bone broth with the fat, the good salt, like Redmond's real salt. You could even put some collagen powder, good clean collagen powder in there. That's just made from bovine, just beef collagen. You could put that in there, and that would also be a very good thing for you, so okay, let's see, let's get back okay, so prep 4 is going to be items that people are used to having around, and you guys will this'll be funny, so when the whole COVID thing happened and, people went out and bought stuff in mass quantities and not caring about the other people that maybe needed some toilet paper, I did not do that, I was already stocked up. I have a lot, but I don't go out and buy like 4 big packs when there's only 5 sitting on the shelf. I would buy 1, and I had done this for years, so I had plenty of that stuff. So the things that I have extra, I have toilet paper, paper towels, um, and this is kinda for some people, this is gross, but I have lots of cotton items that I have cut up into, like, little strips in case you had to use that, you might have to. Um, Let's see. I have a bucket with a plunger, which I know sounds like, okay, everybody has a bucket and a plunger. These have not been used for anything. So it's just a regular plain Jane bucket and plunger. But if you're ever off grid, if anything ever happens, you can have some water put in there. You can actually wash your clothes with a bucket and a plunger. Just doing that actually washes the clothes. So you can do that. Small indoor clothes hanging, like they have this one. I haven't gotten it yet. It folds up. It almost looks like a umbrella when it's folded up. It doesn't. It takes up about that much space around, and it's pretty long. But it has these arms that open up like that, and you can hang clothes on there to dry. So you could do that if you have outside, ability to hang clothes. That'd be cool too. We have the area. We just don't have anything up. I also have lots of extra canning jars of all sizes. I have little teeny ones that I use for like my tooth powders and different stuff like that, all the way up to I have full gallon size jars. And like I said, I buy them when they're on sale. I don't buy anything when it is full price. Let's see, extra lids, rings, all the canning supplies, pickling salts, jar grippers, funnel, water filters. So let me show you these. So they're called water straw. So these are just individual straws, and there's 4 per pack in here. So this is something that if you didn't have clean water, you ran out of clean water, you could go up to like a stream or maybe somebody has a well and you could use that straw and it would purify the water that you're drinking. Let's see. Ta-ta. I just don't want to miss anybody's questions. Squeaky toy. Do you put the caster in your eyes or just on your eyelids? I do both. Um, they recommend that you don't put it in your eye. They say you can put it on your eyelid and it's going to soak through anyway because it's such a deep penetrating oil. And I'm like, well, if you can put it on your eyeball and right on your lash line, it's going to go in your eye anyway. What's it matter? So for years, I've put it in my eye. And as long as you're using organic, cold press, hexane free, I can't imagine why that would be a problem. You do have to do things at your own risk, but I would not lead you astray. Let's see, traveling pack. Oh, and do you okay, I do put it on my face. Oh, good, good. Exactly. Why not? Get rid of these, right? Kathy, I heard from chiropractor that the lines between eyes indicate liver problems. Have you ever heard of that? No. I don't believe it has anything to do. I do know that, like, your liver chakra, whatever you wanna call that, is in the forehead area, but I believe it's up higher, actually. My liver numbers are exquisitely perfect. I don't have fatty liver. I've never had any liver problems ever in my life. What this is from is raising kids. That look that you have to give your kids right there, that's what causes it, and those muscles tighten up, and then it creases the skin. So then doing those exercises with the oil and using that gua sha tool, pulling, separating like that helps diminish that. Like I said, I had 2 and I have 1, and I haven't done anything different. So, it may, on some people, indicate liver issues, but I it's not liver on most people. I would say it is raising children, being married, having a job, working with the public. Any of those things will give you those lines. Let's see. No insanity. Dang. Yes, clothespins. Yep, I was gonna go into that too. So, water filter, I got off on that. I also have water purifying tablets that you can buy. I also have a ton of extra water filters for my little water pitcher that I use. I don't have like a big Berkey or anything like that. That's a lot of money that I don't want to put into because I know one of my cats, somebody would knock it over, shatter it, and yeah, it wouldn't be good. So I don't do that. But if you have one, that's great. I do have a lot of water. Like I said, I store water anytime my husband empties like a pickle jar. I will, clean it, I'll boil it, I'll put it in, and then I will fill it with filtered, water and put the lid on and put it in here in the dark. I mean, this light's the only light it really sees. It doesn't have any direct sunlight on it. So that's what I do with my jars. Like I talked about, a mortar and pestle, so that's like those stone things that have the 3 legs, and you can grind up berries, like wheat berries, you could grind up herbs if you wanted to. I have several. You could actually use it as a weapon because I promise if you throw one of them at somebody, it's gonna damage them. It's not my weapon of choice, but if I had to, I would. I have little ones, I have big ones, I have all those sizes. And actually, those are great presents. So at Christmas, I don't, nobody buys me like clothes or different things like that. It's like mortar and pestle. It might be like a hand mixer. It might be something like that. Like I've got the old style egg beaters that has the double and you roll it like that. Oh, shoot. I didn't bring it down. It's super cute. And I actually went to this thing, it's called Rutledge. It's in Rutledge, Missouri, and it's just a ginormous flea market. They do, I think it's once a month for several months, or maybe it's every weekend. I'm not sure. But they have a ton of that stuff, and I bought that kind of stuff. But I have bobby pins, I have straight pins, I have safety pins, I have um, the clothespins, matches, lots of matches. So the other things I'm going to go over, and I know this is, don't freak out, that I do have enough for my entire family is potassium iodide. Okay. This is really important if for some reason anything happens nuclear, whether that be one of our reactors goes down, whether some other country decides to get sick of the bullying that they get from the country, any of those things. These are tablets that you can take to help with radiation sickness and poisoning. And I do have those just in case. And hopefully we never have to use them, but I'm going to have them if I have need them. The other thing, water purifying tablets, mortar pestle. I'm just looking. I don't want to miss anything. I spent a lot of time looking through every single item I had in here. I was like, I got a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff I don't have. I think a lot of people have stuff. Another thing is I keep antivirals on hand. Part of that is I make my own oregano and thyme oil. I have one in the window brewing right now, actually, which is good for antibacterial, antiviral. I do have antivirals. So the dreaded hydroxychloroquine and the ivermectin tablets. I also do have those. I have quinine, and you can get that in tonic water as well. Um, I do have that. So I have those kinds of things. And then just getting out around people will help your immune system and you won't hopefully catch everything. Another thing is I have huge bottles. So I have multiple of these betadine. Um, What percent is this? I don't remember if it's the 10%. I don't think this one says, but, it said it on the big package. I just didn't keep it. I took everything out. So I have that kind of stuff. Um, Another one is the, bioactive, colloidal silver. So I have that. And it comes in, it's a pretty good sized bottle. And then I pour it into smaller bottles like that and mix different ingredients in for like my dog had an eye infection. And I put that and some boric acid or boron, borax, whatever, and mix that in to help with his eyes. So I did that. How do you put in your eyes? Oh, Renee, on the castor oil, I buy these little. All right, I lied. I'm going to get up one more time. So sorry. So I went out and bought a ton of these. I have large ones like this size. Okay. So you can see, I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, I have really small ones. I have, but most of them I try to get dark so nothing gets denatured in there. But I will do that. And I literally will just lean back, put a drop in each eye, blink, and go to bed. And yes, it is a little blurry for about half a minute because I did it one day kind of early and sat out on the um, couch and I was like, yeah, it's a little blurry for a second. And then it cleared completely. So I do love it. I love it, love it, love it. You're welcome, Kathy. Good for you. So Versatech, haven't used toilet paper for 10 years. I'm still here water only. That is absolutely the best. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Travel pack, you and me are a lot alike on that. Um, I wish I could do a video and go over like self-defense items like that, but as we all know of the how they do us online, so they don't like to have that discussion, but just know um I think everybody should be well versed on how to handle pew pews, um, and to be self sufficient in being able to take care of themselves. I live in a state that wanted to defund the police because they hurt people's feelings. And yes, there are bad cops. There are lots of bad humans per se. There's bad doctors, bad everything. Um, but, like where I live, it's probably 45 minutes before a policeman's going to get here. And by the time they get here, which they'll tell you, I've had one on the phone and had an issue. And he was like, "Is this Laura Russell?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, he's like, "We'll be there." And he goes, "You'll have it taken care of, but we'll be there." Because they just know there will be nothing for them to deal with when they get here. Let's just put it that way. Okay. So another thing that I do, antivirals. I do have lots of antibiotics. I went and I think it's called alldaychemist.com and you can order a lot of like the antivirals, the antibiotics. I have extra things for like if I would get into respiratory distress, things like that. And a lot of these things I buy up in bulk and put away, and I kind of rotate them out because as a nurse, if anything happens, I want to be able to help other people with some of these things because there are a few medications that some people might need if they have COPD, emphysema, asthma, get into any kind of chemical, issue that pharmacies will not be around. So you have to have some of that stuff. I do, and I showed this last week. I do have like that stop clot powder. I do have peroxide. I have rubbing alcohol, castor oil, jojoba, Castile soap, which I will make my own body soaps coming up one of these times. Also, you can make your own laundry soap with Castile soap. You can make dishwashing liquid, black seed oil, bentonite clay, aluminum-free baking soda, baking powder, all the cooking herbs. Okay. Let's see, dry storage. Oh, so I also have tons of garden seeds and I do heirloom seeds, because heirloom seeds, like say you grow tomatoes, you can take those seeds and save them. If it's cucumbers, if it's whatever it may be, you can save those seeds and use those seeds next year. If you do that with products, like say you buy um, like a tomato plant from a store, that's this big, and then you put it out in your garden, it's been genetically modified. So if you save those seeds, the next year when you plant those, most of the time they don't either grow, or if they do, it's it's this mutant, you don't know what. It's like it could be one of the two different types of things that they splice together. I had that with pumpkins one time, and it came out gourds, and I was like, that was a pumpkin, but it had been hybrided. So Kathy, oh my God, 5 kids. Ooh, yes, you should have a lot of those lines, a lot. South Carolina, so we are still pretty free, thank God. Yes, you guys are. South Carolina, yeah. Illinois, not so much, but that's okay. It will be okay. And Texas, well, that's good. That's awesome. You guys are definitely lucky. San Antonio. I'm just reading some of your comments real quick. No, I would say, this is Catherine. She's asking, is castor oil contraindicated for Hashimoto's? I would not, I've never seen a reason why you wouldn't want to use that with Hashimoto's. I would say anything you can do that helps detoxify your thyroid and any of those, you can put those like here on your chest, like where you have all of these that run down across your neck, behind your ears, very, very back of your head, in your armpits, down your abdomen, into the groin area, like your, inguinal area where your leg bends. I can't see a reason why detoxifying any of those areas would make anything worse. It's going to only help get rid of the toxins. So I don't know if you follow Ken Berry, but his wife, Nisha, is a nurse, and she has put her Hashimoto's in remission through doing keto, ketovore, carnivore. She's kind of went between all three. I think she's mainly ketovore now. Let's see. Da-dum. I've heard of that place, College Station. Yeah. My seeds. So I have some seeds that I put up in Mylar bags, Renee. Some of mine I buy from different heirloom companies, and they come in Mylar, little Mylar bags. They're about the size of like a oh, like if you make a recipe card type thing, about that size, and you use whatever you want out of it, and then you reseal those. So that's the most of what I have on tomatoes. If you have like an area, like a basement that is kind of like my basement, it's kind of creepy and wet and um, doesn't freeze, of course, but it's not any place that I'd want to sit down in for a long period of time either. You can take dirt and put in a potted plant, and you can literally take a tomato and cut it in half and put it face down like that into the dirt and put it in there over the year, over the winter, and in the spring you will have starts. So you can do that with, you know, I think they call that wet seed saving. My grandma would save tomato seeds kind of in their little jelly that's in there. She'd put them in jars like this and seal those up and open it once a day to get air to them, is how she did her seeds. She did them wet. Oh, the website for that, Jenny, is called alldaychemist.com. And you just go on there and it's kind of got a green background, and you can put in different things. So like I hopefully never have to take any antibiotics because I have all these things, but if I have to, I've got them. It's more for other people that I'll have to help treat. Um, but my husband can take like amoxicillin, penicillin doesn't bother him. So I got at like 100 of those. I did Z-Pack. I did different things like that. Z-Pack, azithromycin, is like a broad spectrum. So if somebody's got something major and it's pretty bad, it's too late to start holistic stuff, then that's what I would do. But I would get those. And like I said, they have hydroxy, they have ivermectin, they have tons of stuff on there. So, and it'll say like, who's your doctor, this or that. It asks these questions. I don't put anything in there, don't have a script, and pay my fee. And it does take, I think that last package of ivermectin I just got on Wednesday, I ordered that 4 weeks ago or 5. So it takes 4 or 5 weeks to get to you. The first couple times I was like, "Is it coming?" But it's fine. I've had stuff from them this entire time during the whole COVID craziness, and they've always come through. Okay, let's see. Oh, Kathy, you're drinking castor oil. Okay. I'm not, how much are you drinking a day? I can't make myself do it. My grandmother, I don't need it because I don't have any constipation anymore. When I went full carnivore, I don't have that issue. But my grandma, my God, she was crazy about that. She'd make me eat um, vegetables, and then my stomach would be on fire, and then I'd end up with constipation. She tried to give me these fiber drink things. Oh, this one was orange. It was horrific. Like you'd stir it, and if you let it sit for too long, it turned into like this clump of goo, and it was horrible. Was it no, Citricat? I don't remember. It was disgusting. First of all, I didn't like orange, and I didn't like that, and I didn't like vegetables. But if you went to her house, first thing out of her mouth, "Did you poop today?" And I'm like, "Ah, it's none of your business." And if you said no, you were getting 2 tablespoons of castor oil. So I got really good at, even though she was my favorite person, I was like, "Yes, yes, I did. I went twice today. I'm good." I lied. Daily. Wow. Yeah. Metamucil. Yep, I think you're right. Yeah, it's horrible. But anyway, yeah, the castor oil works for a lot of things. I actually did a video last week, I think, some of the different uses of castor oil. Um, Midwives use a lot of castor oil, especially in like your Amish and Mennonite communities for things other than what we've talked about for castor oil. So I don't say a lot on there as to what they do with it because people are crazy and they'll do it and then they'll be like, "Well, Laura said that you could do this," and there you go. So, anyway, I'm gonna get back to this because I can get off on my soapbox. So, the other thing that I would keep on hand, and you do have to watch this, is white vinegar, and you want to make sure it is 5% acidity. And you do have to be careful because if you're somebody who cans pickles, stuff like that, or like sauerkraut, any of those things, if you use any of that, if it's 4%, it will be rancid. It will not. The process does not work out. You will be sick and it'll be gross. And you have to be careful when you go to the store. We shop at a place called Farm and Home. And my mom had said that her pickles didn't come out this last summer. And I was like, it's the same recipe you've used forever. And I said, "Well, grab your vinegar." And so she did. And because she sometimes uses apple cider with the mother vinegar and sometimes she uses white. You can do either. And I said, "Read it to me." And she started reading it. I said, "That doesn't make sense. That's the same brand I have." And I said, "Well, mine says 5%. What is yours?" And she said, "It says 4." And I said, "Throw it away or use it for cleaning in your house," which is what I do with mine. But I never bought any that said 4. And when we went to that store, sure enough, they had 2 shelves that looked identical, and it's the same thing on the front of those, but one says 5%, one says 4. 4 is gonna be okay to clean, but it's not okay to use for the canning processes when you're pickling stuff, so be very mindful, watch out for that. Well, Josh, I don't know if we are in the last days, we might be, but I'm going to be prepared as much as I possibly can. And I do think that God always wins. So I think that the normies will be just fine. I think we'll be okay. She chased you with castor oil, and here you are, you still give yourself castor oil every day after being traumatized. Yes, organic weed killer, Renee, that is a good point. It is very good for that. The other thing is anytime I either do a water bath or coal pack, pressure cook any of my stuff, I always have a little bit of vinegar in there because I have hard water and I don't want the sides of my jars to, have that calcium build up. So I put vinegar in there and I pour it out in like our driveway where the weeds are trying to come up through there. Kills them off. Kills them off. Okay, so another thing is if you're gonna do, make sure you have some apple cider vinegar with the mother in it. I'm not gonna recommend, Bragg's, just you can look that up and see why. I have some old bottles of rags that are over 5 years old that I'm okay with. I'm gonna be making my own this summer. Um, we're gonna make our own, so and may I'll do a live on how you kinda do that. Alright, another thing that I have, as part of my prepping stuff is I have wind up clocks. So just your old style clocks that you remember when you were a kid, and you just wind those up and you can set them for alarms and different stuff. I have 3 of those. So one for my household, my daughters, and my brother-in-law if he would need it. Um, so that's something, a compass and learn how to use them. A battery charger, solar battery charger. So I did buy one of those. This might have been the most expensive thing that I actually have. And I think it was 20 bucks. Yeah, I think it was 20. It was like 19 something. Um, that kind of stuff. I mean, if everything goes down, it's not going to really be that super important that you have that. But if it's just a rolling blackout type thing, it's probably good to have. So again, extra batteries for stuff if you need it for a while, those will all go away at some point. Matchsticks, I have several boxes of the matches that you light on the side. Um, like I said, clothespin safety, wooden spoons of all sizes. I have small wooden spoons, long, thin, like teaspoon to tablespoon. Reason I do that is because I use a lot of this in the glass and you don't want to score the glass and it's not toxic. A lot of the stuff I make has bentonite clay, and you don't want to use metal with that. So it deactivates how some of those minerals it reacts with them. Let's see. For non-carnivores, if the shit hits the fan, you can also do fermented veggies. So I do have some of those in my refrigerator. They keep about 9 months. I fermented cabbage and carrots. Not that I'm going, and like I said, I'm not planning on eating anything like that unless it absolutely comes down to it. But if I was going to, it would be fermented vegetables. It would never be raw vegetables ever, ever, if I could help it. Anyway, you could do like I do. I can vegetables. And I don't make sourdough bread. I did years ago. I know how to do it. If I needed to, I could do the starter and get that done. I think having extra things on hand, like extra natural peanut butter, like your Smuckers, where it's just the oil, the salt, the peanuts. It still can cause some issues with inflammation on people, but you're not going to starve to death. You're going to get protein and fat. So I think that's something good to have on hand. And it's easy for you to put 2 or 3 jars away and you don't even realize they're sitting there. Ba-da-ba-da, ba-da-ba-da. Oh, the other thing I bought in bulk, and I'm not a big fan of any of these things, but there are times where you will need them, was I bought Tylenol, aspirin, Orajel. I do have, like I said, skin glue, colloidal silver, herbal stitches, borax in bulk, handsaw, hand tools, shovels of all sizes, pickaxes, rakes, hatchets, snow shovels. All of these things are things that it would be good to have put up. But these are not things that you have to run out and buy everything right now. I would say kind of go out and start purchasing a few things at a time. Another thing, board games, cards, things like that, because if the grid goes down, people and children, especially that have grown up with technology only, they're going to lose their minds. And so I would get some of those things and maybe start implementing them, learning how to play different games, different music. I also think it's good to have all kinds of clothes. So the closet in here is just our extra, like my hunting clothes. My husband's hunting clothes are hung up in there. But I have like coats that are the ugliest leather, yellow, turkey turd tan, fake fur, ugliest thing ever. But I'm gonna tell you what, I went out in 17 below temperatures and it didn't affect me body wise. I mean, my face about froze off, but I couldn't even tell how cold it was. So I have the ugliest clothes that I get at like secondhand stores. Not the secondhand stores are bad because that's where I buy all my stuff, but I will buy the coat that nobody wants to buy because it's not an attractive coat. And I'm like, yeah, but that's really warm. it's real leather, and this one is, it's real leather, but I have tons of those kinds of items hung up in the closet because you may need that. I mean, nobody's going to care if the choice is freezing to death or you want to look, like you could be on a Vogue magazine. We know what's going to happen to those people. So, another thing that I think is a good idea to have extra of would be like notebooks, pens, pencils, pencil sharpeners, a Bible, a copy of the Constitution, Bill of Rights, Federalist Papers. We will have to reteach people from ground zero, unfortunately. So this is kind of the items that I have after doing this for 4 years. So like I said, I don't expect anybody to run out there and just purchase everything. But if you can just 1 or 2 of these items a week, if you can spare, and I'm not calling anybody out for going and drinking a specialty coffee, but those things are cashy. Um, but if you can just cut out 2 of those a week and buy an extra thing of foil, an extra, couple boxes of canning jar lids, rings, any of those kinds of things, any of the extra, like Tylenol that, you might need. Now, I'm not like I said, I'm not a big fan of Tylenol, aspirin, any of those. There are conditions that if the crap hits the fan, that you want to have those things for just in case. Let's see. Mhm. Another thing that I did is I went on a local Facebook page for Hancock County Buy Sell Trade and was looking for those big water jug, like 55-gallon tanks, like the barrels. And they were food grade barrels. And he was selling them for 20 bucks, come with the lid, the whole 9 yards. So I was like, 20 bucks? Hell yeah. So I got that, bleached it. Then I did white vinegar. Then I let water set with salt just to pull any of that chemical from those things out, dumped it out, rinsed it several times, and then I filtered water and filled that up. Of course, I think I left it about 1 foot below the top because it is out in the garage and it did completely freeze solid during that cold snap that we had here a couple weeks ago. But it didn't split because I left it room. It did get all the way up to the top though, and maybe a little poured out, but that's okay. But we did that. And that's if you have a space. If you don't, and all you have is an extra closet, you can buy bottled water and just stack it in there. Just get some extra stuff in there. I just want everybody to be able to kind of take care of themselves if they can, because I don't want people dependent on government, medicine, or anything else. Let's see, Renee. Okay. Kathy, Hashimoto. Yeah, the apple cider vinegar, Renee, I think that'll be pretty cool. I will do a video on that. I have somebody that I'm going to trade peaches. They have organic apples. They don't spray anything on their stuff. We don't spray anything on our peaches, and we're going to try to barter that stuff. And I'm going to do it from those organic apples. It's really I will tell you ahead of time, you want to get a gallon glass jars, and you can get those at those stores. Like I said, those farm stores have those. All right. Well, good for you, Kathy. She can do 1 to 2 teaspoons nightly of castor oil and it doesn't give her diarrhea. You are amazing because it would give me diarrhea. I know it. I remember it all too well. Oh my gosh. B Dog, a hunting weekend. Oh boy, that would be interesting. Yes. G is so cute. She would be like, oh, don't shoot that. It's so cute. Now she'd probably be okay. She'd be like, wait, we can eat that. She would be a trip to take hunting for damn sure. That would be a good time. That would be awesome. Uh, I took, my mother, hunting with me one time years ago, probably I was probably close to 20 years ago, and my mother is artistic, so she's an oil painter, she writes novels, she's 10 times smarter than I am with that stuff, but, she was like, "Oh, I'll come hunting with you," and I'm like, "Okay." So, we get up super early and we trudge out and we're sitting in a ground blind. So it's a tent that you sit on the ground that's camouflaged and stuff. And we're sitting there. And I mean, it's cold. It was dreary out. And this humongous doe walks out. I mean, she wasn't 30 yards in front of it. And I was bow hunting that weekend. And, I get my bow pulled up and I get it pulled back like that. And she yells, "Run!" And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And that's the cleaned up version of what I said. I mean, it was a huge doe. I'll bet you she was 175 pounds. I mean, it was a big doe. I said, "What the hell did you do that for?" And she was like, "Well, you were going to shoot it." And I said, "Well, what in the hell do you think hunting is? Hunting is shooting the animal." I was like, "How do you think you get all that meat I give you?" She goes, "Well, it doesn't mean I have to watch it." And I said, "Then why did you come hunting?" So, those people that are artistic minded, I don't think they think of it that way. So she has no problem eating deer, any of that stuff, but I don't think she could ever hunt to survive. I just don't think that is in her wheelhouse of stuff. Let's see. It's funny you say that. So when it comes to deer hunting in our area, Um, we have a lot of big deer. And so we have a lot of outfitters and people that come in from other states, which that's it for another video someday of my complaints on some of that. Um, w- I don't sit still in my blind or in a stand at all. So I'm fidgety. I'm very much that way. I'm similar to G with that energy. I just don't sit still. When I would take my daughter, we sat in a buddy stand, up in the tree, and it's a pretty wide stand, and we'd sit there. We just normal conversation, talked. I chewed gum at the time. I always had my chapstick on, which I am going to be making my own chapstick too, guys. So I am going to be doing that. But um, some people I know they smoke out in the timber, and the deer walk right by them. So you'd be surprised what you could get. So Renee, my grandson took his oldest daughter hunting. She got to do. Oh wow! Second daughter wanted to go. He took her. Yeah, and then the deer's like, "Noted. People in a blind, don't go near them." So that deer was educated very quickly. So, yes, there we have all kinds of people, and they all have their own little things that they're really, really, really good at. My mom, like I said, is extremely intelligent. There's a lot of stuff she knows. Um, just I she just doesn't go deer hunting with me. I'm trying to think if she's been here when I process my deer because we hang our own deer, let them hang for so long, and then process them ourselves. And I don't think she's been here. So, all right. Well, it's been a long one because I kind of got off on my soapbox. So I apologize for that. I don't usually do live videos quite that long. So that is the end of this one. Don't forget Monday night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. I don't know the other times because I don't pay attention to that. I'm sorry. We're going to be on Meaty Mondays with the Fierce Felines. So definitely watch that. I think I have multiple other things that I have come up with to go over. Um, let's see. Let me grab those just real quick and kind of give you a heads up on some of the stuff that I'm going to. It's like I'm in college again. Look at all these papers that I've been doing. So I've got one that's going to be on the differences between ketovore, and carnivore. Um, I love canning and how to can low acid foods. I wrote that. Um, I've got one on B1, which is thiamine, and things to know about how, if you're deficient in those things you can do naturally to get those better. Some people do have to do supplements, and that's okay. There's some supplements I take doing this oxalate food list and how we get rid of those, and then deficiencies of different nutrients. What, like if you're seeing a symptom that might represent this type of a nutrient deficiency, and then this is going to be the one I'm probably going to do this next week is the GLP-1 drugs. And so I'll list those off to you real quick. So when you see those commercials, what those are. So GLP-1s are the medications that they're giving. It's supposed to be for diabetics, but they're giving it to people for weight loss. Anyway, so some of the names are going to be Trulicity, Bidurion, Besice is another name of that, Byetta, Ozempic, Victoza, Adlixin, and Rybelsus are names. Something, I don't know. I always want to say Moderna, but we aren't going to get into that today. So, okay. So I think that's the end of that one. And then I'm going to get my supplies put away. So thank you guys. And I will go check my emails and kind of get everything set up for that. So you guys have a rest of your Saturday. I hope you have a good Saturday. And if there's something else you want me to go over that won't get me kicked off of the platform, leave it in the comments, or you can email that to me or send me a message either way. So, anyway, meet, heat, eat, and repeat. See ya.